If you're looking for an easy, cheap ceremony setup, something that you can set up in 2 seconds, it's the easiest way possibly to do it, this is the wrong video, okay? If you're looking for the most robust ceremony setup to handle any situation and to do it really legit, we're about to show you something. Now, every product I'm about to use, I will list in the description. I'm not associated with anything. I paid full price for all these products, except for my speakers. I got 25% off from Pioneer. Beyond that, full price for everything. I'm not endorsed by nothing. I believe in this shit, okay? This is just what I use because I believe it's the best. With that being said, we're gonna start with the chair, people. I get the chair off Amazon, compact, folds up. I like to bring my own chair. Sometimes you could steal a chair, but then you can mess up the order, especially if there's like an order, you know what I mean? Like if they have it nice and easy, you don't wanna have like one chair missing. So there's not always an opportunity to steal a chair, so I always bring my own. And this one's guaranteed to be comfortable, so can't beat that. So usually set up the chair first, then we bust out the table, okay? This is also off of Amazon, tiny little table. Breaks up just like this, pretty cool. Bang. Legs go on like so. So this table has little feet. I like this table too because like the feet under here kind of unscrew. So you could, if it's an uneven surface, you can like adjust it so it's decent, you know? And they got the little net underneath I usually use for the mic or something like that. I'm gonna put this bad boy right here. I'm like too close for comfort. I'm like literally right next to everybody. It's probably a huge bridal party. Maybe I shouldn't set up here. Yeah, all right, we're gonna set up over here. Sorry, we switched ceremony spots. And I have the flexibility to do that because everything is battery powered. Got my Jackery 1000 right here, okay? Love this thing. It'll probably last for, I don't know, 400 ceremonies. I don't know about 400, but it does a lot. It's a big battery. So we're just gonna plug everything into that so we can set up where we like. Then I got a 6-space rack here. So it's a full 6-space rack. It's got everything we ever needed in here. I keep it all rack mounted so it's all in one. Nice and easy to set up. We'll plop this over on the table here. And then I'll walk you through the full rack right now. So on the bottom here, I have a power conditioner. It's a Furman power conditioner, the MADX. I wouldn't get this one. I'll probably link a newer one. This is like an older one, but these things last forever, so I never really threw it out or nothing. So all the power runs through the conditioner, and then you just plug the conditioner in. That way you can keep track of power levels and all that. You should do that with all your setups. Right above that, I have a QSC Touch Mix 8. That's what I run everything through. So we got multiple channels for mics, instruments, whatever we need. Now, right above the QSC Touch Mix, we got our microphones. I use the Shure SLX Digital Series. I really like these mics. They do make better ones than this. So I will say, I don't want to call them budget mics. They're not cheap, but they're not the top of the line, but I've never had problems with these. So I highly recommend them. I use them in all my setups. And big tip, these mics and the mics for my main setup and all my mics in general, they're exactly the same. They're all SLXD, they're all H55, so it's all the same band, everything, so everything's interchangeable. So I can utilize these mics for a million different situations. I have 2 receivers here, I can have 2 handhelds, right? Because I can just grab my toasting mic from my main setup. I can have 2 lavaliers, I can have 1 lavalier and 1 handheld, or I could just do one or the other, obviously. And on top of that, I run everything through the Shure U8A44 distro here. So the distro does a couple different things, right? We have this on the top. Number one, it combines the antennas. So normally you would have 4 antennas coming out of 2 receivers here. I only have 2 because it combines the antennas. It'll combine the antennas for up to, I think, 4 or 6 receivers. It's a lot, right? So this is only 2. On top of that, it does amplify the signal slightly, so it does help you not lose signal. And then plus that combined with using half-wave antennas, we got the bigger antennas here, never have a signal problem, even outdoors like this. So everything is totally wireless. I don't have a problem with labs, nothing. Always scan your channels, obviously, but running them through the distro is the major key. Now on top of that, if I need a third mic, so sometimes I'll do a lav on the groom, sometimes I'll do a lav on the officiant, and then there might be a third mic, like a handheld on the side for a reader. I have a third SLXD in a separate bag. I don't have it with me right now, but in a separate bag, third SLXD receiver with the mic and everything. And all I have to do is plop it on top here, and then I have the cords already running. So if I take this off here, literally to add a third mic, I don't have it built in because I don't use it all the time, but literally add a third mic, it's as easy as just plopping it on top. I have the antennas I can plug right in there, so it runs through the distro, so it's gonna run through these antennas, plug the power in, and the XLR, which I have in here already, and then I'm done. And I have a third mic to use if I need it. Now that's probably 1 out of 20 ceremonies, so again, I keep it in a separate bag, but I have everything pre-wired for that. So I can just plop it on if I need it, but typically it's usually just 2 mics. Now, as far as what kind of mics I use and how many, I leave that up to the couple. I always give them that option. Now, I'm not saying you have to do this, it's just what I do. And I do it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I offer a high-end service. I don't want to leave anything to chance. I don't want to just automatically just give them a handheld on a stand no matter what. And maybe they didn't want that. Maybe, you know, in retrospect, they regret it with the pictures. Or like they look back at their pictures 2 months after the wedding, like, ugh. man, I wish that stand wasn't there. I wonder if Nick had a lavalier or a clip-on or another mic option. You know, I really didn't like that. Like, I don't want to leave that to chance. You know, too many DJs just say, hey, I'm going to give you the mic that I think you should use because that's what I have set up and that's it. You get what you get. There's no options and whatever. And I just think it's wrong. And sometimes a lavalier really will work better, or sometimes multiple mics will work better. And the reason why most DJs don't do it is because they're not set up for it. They don't have the setup. They don't know how to do it correctly. And of course, I'm going to show you how I do it in this video. But with that being said, this is what I do. When I meet with a couple in the finals meeting, first I ask, is your officiant a rookie or not? Did you hire them? Are they a professional or are they a family friend? Because that's common now. Then I ask if their officiant or them has a mic preference. Would you rather a clip-on? Would you rather a handheld on a stand? Would you rather a handheld that the officiant will hold or whatever? They'll let me know if they have a preference, or sometimes they leave it up to me. I also ask them if they're doing their own vowels, right? So if they wrote their own vowels and are actually taking it out on a piece of paper, then just doing one lav on the officiant might not be enough. I might need another lav on the groom, or maybe you just do a handheld in general so they can, you know, the officiant can hold it out to them. I just figure out all those logistics. I talk to them, I have a conversation about it, and then we come to a conclusion of what mics and how many I'm using at the ceremony so they get exactly what they're expecting and it sounds the best. I make my recommendations, but I also talk to them and see what they prefer. Chances are they probably have a preference, people, in the same way that they would choose their own dances and their own intro songs and all that stuff. This is just another option that they should be able to choose, in my opinion. Now, I always use 2 speakers for every ceremony. Why? Well, why do you use 2 speakers for your main setup, right? You know, you got a left and a right. It's symmetrical. It sounds more even. You have 2 sides of the aisle, okay? It's better with 2 speakers. Before it was impossible because you have to run the wires. Why would you run the wires? So obviously you're not gonna do it. Nowadays, I got the Wave 8s and it's completely wireless. Battery powered and wireless, no wires at all. So I can literally have the freedom of having 1 speaker over here and I'm gonna plop 1 over there. So it's nice and even. Try to be careful not to mess up their flowers here because we don't have enough room on the ground, but. Is that sketch? Huh? I don't care. I don't care. Now these are the Alpha Theta Wave 8s. If you're not familiar with them, I did a whole review on them. I'll link it right above. But these are pretty cool. So they're 8-inch battery powered wireless speakers. They use something called the Sonic Link technology, which basically allows them to communicate together. So I'm gonna have a box on my main setup. That box is gonna communicate with the first speaker. Then the first speaker is gonna have another box which will communicate to the second speaker. So it's basically like a daisy chain. It goes here to here, right? So like this is a short enough distance from that setup to my first speaker here, so it's good. And then this speaker will communicate across the hall, across the aisle or whatever, to this one, and then it works beautifully. So we're gonna set it up that way. I have everything labeled so I know which speaker's which. So this is 1A. So this is gonna be the first speaker here. So this green light should stay, bang. So this is connected to this. So now we're gonna put this by the setup. This is gonna be the main box that communicates to the first speaker. I got my wires labeled too, so I have like a little thing here that lets me know that this is the red wire, and this is the white wire, so bang. And that's it, that's gonna go to here, so we're gonna put this speaker here. We got box 2 in that speaker, communicating to this speaker. And that's it, our speakers are set, just like that, nice and even. Wanna make sure they're not like, one's not taller than the other, but it looks like it's about to fall on Grandma. What do you guys think? Kind of sketchy? I should probably even it out. Ugh. Whatever, it's gonna be fine. They'll probably say something, but it's gonna be fine. That's definitely not going anywhere. All right, we're fine. So everything's connected, everything works. The next thing I'm gonna do is ring out the mic. This is something I do with the QSC Touch Mix. I do it with the main setup, I do it with this setup, and it's literally the secret, it's the major key. It's the secret sauce. It's what everybody should do. I don't know, I'm sure there's other external mixers that do it. I'm just not familiar. I'm really just familiar with the Touch Mix. But basically there's a feedback wizard. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna create feedback on purpose, and then it's gonna lower the EQs that are creating feedback. So usually like in the mid area. It's gonna lower all those EQs automatically. Then later on, you're gonna have twice as much headroom because those EQs are lowered and the feedback's not happening. You always do it once the speakers are set, everything's where it's gonna be, and it's a major key with lavaliers. If you ever had problems with lavaliers outside, you know what I mean? We're not using one today, but like, that's why, you know what I mean? Feedback, not having enough headroom with lavaliers, it's literally because you gotta ring them out. You gotta bring down certain frequencies, or else it's gonna feedback automatically. 3-band ain't enough, okay? High, mid, low, ain't enough. So we're gonna turn this on now, make some noise. Kind of tough to see here, but anyway, we're gonna hit, make sure the mic is at unity, right? So the mic is like even right here. Then we're gonna hit main, and then we go to anti-feedback up here, and then we're gonna reset it. right? So everything's reset. We got all the bands here, and then we're gonna start the feedback wizard with the mic turned on. So right now, it's basically up in the volume as high as possible to try and get this thing to feedback. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Now we have tons of headroom, like tons of headroom. And that brings me to another point I forgot to tell you guys about. The other part about avoiding feedback in general, right? The other part, especially with ceremonies and stuff, is speaker placement. As you can see, both of my speakers are in front of the mic. That's where you want them always, okay? Many people set up their ceremony setups in the back. So your speaker is facing the officiant, right? Because you're shooting from the back. What happens? The mic is facing the speaker, it Hodge modulates, it feeds back. Even if the mic's faced the other way like this, but the speaker's there, that's not where you want the speaker because it still feeds back. You know what I mean? You always want the speakers to be in front and facing the opposite way of where the mic is. So that's why using two, and I always have them on either side like this, so the officiant's actually gonna be right here, closer to here, and the speakers are right there. So feedback is literally impossible at this point. You know what I mean? And the same thing goes for lavalier. Putting the speakers in front of where the officiant's gonna be, in front of where the mic's gonna be, and then you combine that with ringing out the mic, with the feedback wizard and all that, you're gonna have all the headroom in the world, okay? You put people in lavalier, they sound like $1 million. I'm telling you. Now when it comes to handhelds, this is another clutch thing. I know it looks like Joe Biden's pubes, but it literally works magic. You put it over top and it literally will block any type of wind by 95%. I use this on beaches where it's crazy windy, literally zero wind. Zero, like it blocks it completely. Don't use the foam ones. Don't use like the black foam ones, or you know what I'm talking about? Like the puffy ones from the 90s. They don't work. It's the one that has the hairs. And by the way, a mic stand's a mic stand. If you care, this is the Atlas sound stand. I think I got this from Sweetwater. They're pretty expensive. I think there's like $100 a piece. So they're kind of expensive, but I was tired of like the cheap ones constantly breaking and me having to like figure it out, you know what I mean? So I bought two of these and they've been holding up. They don't look beautiful as far as scratches and stuff, but they've been holding up. They're definitely heavy duty. So these are the stands I'm using. I'll link it below, but you know, obviously a stand's a stand, use what you like. Now the final piece of the puzzle is the iPad. This is what I play the music from. I also have the Denon Prime Go Plus that I just did a video on. You can see that here, but you know, I'm gonna use that for more robust stuff, the easier stuff. I'm just gonna use this. It has a DJ algorithm app I'm sure you guys are familiar with, and it works nice. So that's what I do. But you tell me what you do in the comments. You tell me what you do. I'm sure there's someone watching this still use CDs. Let yourself be known. Come on. Come on out. Who still uses that CD mix too? I'm talking to you. And that's it, people. That's my whole ceremony setup, but I got a wedding to DJ, 2 people getting married. It's the Super Bowl, so I gotta let you go. Thanks for watching.
We come together in this gorgeous setting as privileged witnesses to share in the joy, celebration, and union of their lives and families. Let us begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your presence with us here today. Grant that this marriage be a rich and purposeful union,